How's it going, guys? Hank here, back at it again with another short video on the Review and Preview Sports YouTube channel. And folks, as always, don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like, give us a comment, let us know your thoughts. We want to hear from you guys. So the breaking news that we have discussed for today is the Carolina Panthers have fired their head coach Matt Rhule after going 11-27 in only 2.5 seasons as their head coach. And to say that this was a disappointing tenure would probably be the understatement of the year. I mean, let's not forget, this guy was one of the most heavily sought after coaches in the NFL after the success he had at Temple and Baylor, turning around two college football programs that had struggled and making them winners and even winning a few bowl games in the process with those schools. So a lot of people thought that was going to continue and translate into the NFL. But the problem is, if you look at the history with college coaches and going into the NFL, not all of them are successful in both levels. And unfortunately, Matt Rhule just so happens to not be the exception to that. And let's talk a little bit about his tenure with the NFL. I mean, you look at the first year that he had with Carolina, only had 5 wins. That was with Teddy Bridgewater, and Christian McCaffrey was hurt. Can't really hold that season against him. And again, 2021, it looked like they were going to take a step further. They got Sam Darnold from the Jets, but again, unfortunately, not only was McCaffrey hurt again, but Sam Darnold too got hurt. And while it looked for a bit that the return of Cam Newton was going to bring a spark to the Carolina Panthers, that just wasn't the case. And not to mention, both years the offense was ranked pretty much near the bottom, and it also looked as if, and not to mention, he had fired offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who a lot of people praise as like a guy who is going to really help their offense. So, a lot of people really thought that after that year he was going to get canned because of that. But while he did get fired, I think the timing was a little bit more surprising because the Panthers pretty much decided to cut ties with him after starting 1-4. This time with Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback. And now it looks like he's not going to be playing next week with a high ankle sprain, as they're going to have to start PJ Walker at quarterback. So, in other words, the Matt Rhule tenure, you can look at a lot of the stuff that happened with the lack of offense is probably his fault and possibly him losing the locker room. But in addition to that, he also dealt with a good amount of injuries. So I feel like his failed tenure was pretty much because of things that went in and out of his control. However, as far as the Panthers go, this is a team that, to put it mildly, because of a lot of the circumstances that I said, even with the healthy McCaffrey, is an absolute mess. And, not to mention, look at the contract that they gave Matt Rhule. 7 years, $62 million. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of high hopes for this guy. And, as a Giants fan, I'm pretty much relieved that they didn't end up taking the bait and matching Carolina's contract, even though up until that point, I was pretty high on Matt Rhule and the idea that he could turn around the Giants. And look, let's not kid ourselves. The Joe Judge tenure obviously didn't go how we wanted, but at the very least, I think the Giants would have been in a tougher situation had they hired Matt Rhule and been stuck with the albatross of his contract. Because let's look at the Panthers. They're now paying this guy a little over $40 million, and he hasn't even finished half of his contract. So, yeah, I would say the Panthers essentially played themselves. Now, the interim coach for them to replace Matt Rhule will be Steve Wilkes. But again, I don't know if he's necessarily going to end up being a permanent coach. I mean, he did have a brief tenure with the Arizona Cardinals for 1 year, but that obviously did not go very well. But what happens with the Panthers and how they are able to clean up their mess remains to be seen. But it is going to take a bit of time, and they are pretty much, the way I see it, back to square one. So in any event, that's all I pretty much have to say with regards to the firing of Matt Rhule. But as always, please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like and give us a comment too. What were your thoughts on this situation? Did you think that the Panthers made the right decision to fire Matt Rhule despite a lot of money that he is going to be owed over the next 5 years? Do you think that his failed tenure with the Panthers was entirely his fault? Do you think there were things that were out of his control? Do you think it was also simply a case of players underachieving and not playing up to their full potential? Or do you think it was just a way that the Panthers managed their whole situation? Either way, let us know in the comments. We would love to have some interactions with all you guys. But until next time, I'm Hank and Dicker, and I'm sure I will be back again with another short video some point in the near future. But until then, I'll see you guys later.